Hello and welcome to Gallifreyan Gatherings, episode 3. We're talking about 73 yards. I'm Scott.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Alex.
I'm the classic Who fan. Josh is the new Who fan. And Alex is very new. Just started watching this season. So 73 yards. It's been a mixed reaction for this one. Some people really love this episode, like me. And some people don't.
Absolutely.
Like us.
I detested this episode.
Like I said, it tried to do what It Follows does and did it 10 times worse.
I don't even catch that. What was It Follows?
I think it was the one with the sexually transmitted ghost.
The what now?
What now?
Have you not seen It Follows?
What kind of movies are you watching?
Corn.
Okay.
The band?
Exactly, the band.
The vegetable?
No, the fruit.
So we start off.
Are you watching Old Boys?
We start off this episode. No title sequence this week. Odd choice.
No, we didn't get any title sequence whatsoever. I thought it was gonna be a cold open. The whole thing was a cold open.
The whole thing was a cold open. So Dr. and Ruby land in Wales on a cliff top. We do get a mention of the Welsh, and the doctor says the name Roger ap Gwilliam, and then says, oh no, that's 2046. Spoilers. Obviously, there's Chekhov's gun planted.
Yep.
Yeah, it was.
Doctor then proceeds to step on a fairy circle and breaks it. And then Ruby opens the scrolls, reads them. The first one says, I miss you. This scroll, by reading it, curses her to lose everyone, to miss everyone. And then, rest in peace, Mad Jack. We find out later on who Mad Jack is. And this message seems to have the meaning of, keep the peace, rest in peace. And then by that one, that spell's broken. And we'll get to that later. As she reads, the doctor disappears. The lights go out in the TARDIS. And the TARDIS is locked.
And the key doesn't work anymore.
He no longer works. And we get our first view of the woman. It's a cool shot, though. I really like that bendy tree. I don't know if they planted that there or if that was naturally there. If it was naturally there, they got really lucky.
I hate it.
It's a really good composite shot.
Especially knowing what happens after this. It makes no fucking sense.
Yeah. It was super weird and unnecessary.
So, from what I understand, they told the lady to sign some things in sign language just to give viewers something to look at so that there's not just a woman standing there. Give a little motion to the character.
And so much more creepy.
But
I just told her to sign, stop.
She was signing like calming and nice things. I don't know. So yeah, we see the woman. Ruby questions her and gets no real response. It begins to snow. This is not our first and only time seeing snow this episode. And we get Susan Twist.
Boy, they finally called her out on this one.
Have I seen you before?
Yeah, we do finally get some recognition. Hey, Ruby finally noticed. He's seen that face before.
And I like that, oh no, it was the other one.
That was, some other time. So, Ruby heads towards civilization, realizing that the woman's following her. It snows as she walks. We're not sure if it's snowing just...
Well, I was going to say she asked Susan to go and talk to the lady.
Yes. Now the snow, we don't know if the snow in this scene was because of Ruby's emotional state or if it was just snowing. It's Wales. It snows in Wales.
I don't know. I feel like when it snows because of Ruby, they really linger on the snow. They didn't really do it here.
Yeah.
I would argue they did actually for a little bit when they had the shot of the TARDIS.
I mean, not in the way they did in the past.
That's true. That is true. So yeah, she asks Susan Twist's character to speak to a woman, and we get this shot of speaking to the woman, looking towards Ruby, kind of staring her down for a second, and then running off screaming.
Do we get a resolution on what the hell that is?
Nope.
I didn't think so.
It's, from what I understand, it's part of the curse, the breaking the spell scroll that said, I miss you. Anyone that she, tries to get to help her or tries to get into some sort of even a friendly relationship or more a family relationship, all those people are just cut out of her life. And that's how I kind of took it.
But if she works with you, fuck it.
But yeah, this episode was very like a headcanon episode. Like, figure it out for yourself. We then have we cut to the pub, the Epren Maru. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I don't speak Welsh. I don't read Welsh. Translates to the Deadwood. I know that much.
I thought it was Scary Tree.
So the location that they use for this, which is the White Cross Inn, has been used, not in Doctor Who, but it has been used in Torchwood in the episode Countryside.
Yeah.
That's Country CIDE. This is it, by the way. Ruby arrives. The lady is still following her. We get this shot of the patrons of the pub.
I've never wanted to see a tavern burn down more.
Yep.
This isn't D&D.
Oh, we're going murder hobo so hard.
Ruby asks for a room, asks if she can pay with her phone.
What's a phone?
How do you pay with a phone? Just really like taking the piss and just be like, yeah, of course you can pay with your phone. We're not, in the Middle Ages.
Yeah, but there's no mirth to this humor at all. This was all spiteful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, especially what they do to her after this.
That's the Welsh.
People are assholes.
That's kind of how they're saying that the Welsh are in their sense of humor. It's kind of a mean-spirited sense of humor, if you will.
I thought it was hard enough adjusting to the Brits.
So yeah, she gets pranked by the barkeep and the patrons. They really fuck around with her. She asks for a Coke and kind of explains her situation. And we find that the Coke is £5, which is approximately $5 US. That's an expensive drink.
That's concert Coke right there.
That
it's made with cane sugar though, so it's worth
is
it.
Also a callback to the Devil's Court, where the cup of tea was three something, which would be roughly like £6 in today's money. Why are drinks expensive? That's weird, isn't it?
I don't know. It's pretty expensive nowadays.
You got a tinfoil hat for that one?
I got nothing for that one. I just something that was kind of noticed. Josh says he's going to leave and that he'll speak with the lady. The old lady the old lady patron coins the term semper distans, which means always distant in Latin. So he goes out, speaks with her, turns, and runs away screaming as well.
Never to be seen again.
Never to be seen again.
All these people that ran away, basically murdered.
So Ruby explains a bit more about what happened. We learn that it's a fairy circle. get the explanation of why magic might work because of the castles in Wales being steeped in blood and cliffs being a boundary between the land and the sea. Spiteful one walks through the gaps, that sort of thing. Ruby says she read the scrolls, and then they explain Mad Jack. It was kind of a scary scene. I quite liked it. We get a pounding at the door, which Ruby then opens. Oh yeah, and that face, the slightly cocked camera, very, very like 2005, 2006 Doctor Who. Ruby opens the door, and it's some guy delivering pastries. And we find that the patrons were again having fun at her expense.
Yeah, how dare she fall for this?
Literally pointing and laughing.
Hated this so much.
So the next day is, Ruby eats breakfast. Tavern owner gives her some clothes. I thought I had a screenshot of that, but I don't. And we find that the woman is still watching. Josh is never coming back and says to ask her, which Ruby thinks means the woman and not Ruby herself. The tavern owner then kicks Ruby out over the next couple of days. And yeah, that was the pub scene. I take it you guys did not like the pub scene.
I was very irritated by those people.
Yeah.
We weren't supposed to like them, and they accomplished their job.
Yeah. And I will say they had some
But
really
not
good
in
actors.
the right way.
If you notice, like, even when they're not the focus of the scene, when they're in the background, they're still, like, really in character. Very good actors. I want to point that out. So,
I like the emo who wasn't an emo.
Yeah, that guy was weird.
Ruby gives up waiting for the doctor and decides to head home. Gets on a train, and we see the woman just kind of teleporting along her path.
See, this would have been way more entertaining if they just had her on like an actual like pulley system and just dragging her. Would have made it so much better.
Just tie ropes to her feet and drag her behind the train.
Yeah, it would have been fine.
Yeah, imagine you're being drugged by her feet and just.
Oh man.
Just says like, cut away. Oh, she's there.
I think they should have done the homage to the Twilight Zone and because they pay some lip service to, well, do you want to go and get on a plane? Well, I don't know. I might die. They should have had her literally just standing on the wing.
But that wouldn't have been 73 yards.
You could have been on one side of the fuselage and her on the other side of this rather
She
large
could have been
plane
in air at that
It's going to be
point.
sized enough to be large enough to go across the freaking ocean to America. Like, I don't know, you could do it.
She could have been flying. She could have just been floating there.
There you go.
Anything's better than just randomly teleporting.
Something on the wing.
So Ruby arrives home and explains to her mom, Carla, that this woman's been following her. They go outside and make a plan that Carla's going to be on the phone with Ruby and she's going to talk to the lady. I did not get a screenshot, but Mrs. Flood makes an appearance.
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
Snooping about yet again.
Oh, this isn't about me. Drops down.
This is now the second time that we've seen Mrs. Flood. Who is she going to be? She knows what a TARDIS is. And she broke the fourth wall.
And, more importantly, why the hell did Ruby let her mother go there? She has seen multiple times what happens.
Okay, 2 can be a coincidence. 3 is a pattern.
Not sure I'd test that pattern on like my closest confidant.
Yeah. So, Carla goes and talks to the lady. Ruby asks what she looks like. She looks like what she is, which we find out later that, even close up, she looks like what you would see of her 73 yards away. Person with 20/20 vision, seeing someone 73 yards away, that is the distance where you can no longer make out facial features.
Yeah, well, she looks like what she is.
Yeah, exactly.
God, fucking stupid.
So, yeah, her mother Carla turns and looks at her and then runs away screaming. And then we get kind of a heartbreaking scene of her basically running away from Ruby in a taxi, giving her like a death stare.
When I laughed my ass off, if she would have grabbed the wheel, like just jerked it towards her.
So, Ruby keeps trying to get a hold of her mom over an undisclosed amount of time. At some point, Carla changes the locks, and we get a scene where Carla finally talks to Ruby. Carla says, "You need to stop calling and go away." Ruby says, "But I'm your daughter." And then we get that heartbreaking scene. "Except you're not, are you? Even your real mother didn't want you." Just
How many times are we going to get her mom saying, "I'm not your mom. I don't have a daughter"? It's twice now in 4
it is
episodes.
twice. But that's I think one of the ongoing themes of this series is abandonment. I think we're going to continue to see a little bit of that over the next couple of episodes, because we're more than halfway through, or we're halfway through the season now, aren't we?
I thought you said it was 12 episodes.
I think it's 8.
8? Then we're more than half, right? Are they counting that first episode?
No, they're not counting Church on Ruby Road.
That one.
Space Babies is considered episode 1. So after that, we get another bit of snow.
Oh, don't forget the grandmother.
Oh, I forget what exactly she said.
It was something like the mother wouldn't even let her out, or something like that.
I don't remember that.
I feel horrible for the grandmother in like every scene she's in.
Look, Cherry Sunday, great character. She gets like 1 or 2 lines every couple of episodes, but they're always like right on point.
I know. Oh no, it was when Ruby first gets back home, and she's just like, "I told you that boy was no good."
Yeah, with
I'm like, what?
flying machine.
Like, what? No.
Box of tricks.
This box of tricks, yeah.
We go forward a year. The lady is still following, and we get Kate frickin' Stewart. I was happy to see Kate Stewart.
Kate Stewart's in that scene that I like, isn't she?
Yes. Well,
she's the opposing force in that scene.
Yes. I like Kate Stewart.
I recognized her face and went, I know there's more context.
Well, I like the line, sometimes I work with the doctor, sometimes I work against him. It's true.
I hate him and I adore him.
So, yeah, it's now a year on. Kate offers a job to Ruby, as she does to pretty much all of the former companions. We get an explanation.
Was Kate ever a companion?
She's a companion in the same way that her dad was, where she doesn't really travel in the TARDIS, but she's around often enough to be like an associate of the Doctor.
It would have been a real shame if, the Doctor would have told Ruby about the other Doctor. That way she could have went to the Doctor for help.
He doesn't exist anymore. Remember, there is no one like the Doctor in the whole universe.
I don't know why you're holding on to that. That's true if he's a different Doctor.
They're still technically the same person.
No.
In the same way that Biollante and Godzilla are the same genetically, they're fucking not.
No, listen. Biollante and Space Godzilla are the same, not the other way around.
Not having this argument again.
Save that for your Mega Monster podcast.
We already
having
did.
this argument on air again.
So
Already had it.
we get an explanation of what unit is. We do get a mention here that the supernatural is becoming more frequent. And we also get the line, I think this timeline might be suspended along your event, which explains a lot of the episode right there. Like, okay, we're in a time loop of some sort. We also hear about the perception filter and get an explanation of what that is. And Ruby realizes that the lady that's following her has a perception filter because the people at work don't seem to complain about her. And we finally find out that the lady is always 73 yards away.
Oh my god, she's a TARDIS?
63.7 meters.
66.7 meters. I thought they were going like the devilish route, like, oh, you know, we rounded up. It was 66.6.
Yeah.
6, you know.
Why?
That sort of thing.
Why use yards?
It's still a measurement of distance in Britain. Not often used, but it is.
Okay, wouldn't they use the meter?
Wait, it was 73 yards? That's like 153 and a half washing machines.
Or 12 giraffes.
12 and a half giraffes.
What is happening?
We're using American measurements.
Yeah,
What the
Americans
fuck
like
is
everything but meters. Thanks, Scott.
So,
I knew you were going to get it.
we find
God, that makes me so crazy. All right, moving on.
we find that Kate did not come alone. Unit photographed the woman, and despite using high-end equipment, still blurry. Kate says, "You know, do you want us to bring her in?" And we get a mention of the psychic training and a whole bunch of other things that should prevent them from being affected by whatever this woman says.
Apparently not.
I don't know. Kate's
However,
73 yards away.
She speaks to the soldiers, and Kate hears through her earpiece. And another abandonment, disengage.
Are we sure that it's actually speech? Like,
Not
it wasn't
really.
clear to me that the woman speaks.
I mean, it's clear at the end that she can speak. I don't know if she does speak.
She says like 2 words, and then it's all sign language that doesn't fit what she's trying to get across. Which I didn't even realize at first she was doing sign language. I just thought she was trying to do like random movements to get her
I saw
attention.
the pattern. I don't speak ASL.
Or BSL.
The British.
Yeah, that's true too.
We get a time jump. Ruby is now 25. Then 30. And then 40. One nice thing is you do see the progression of the city as time goes by. You get the like the electric vehicle charging ports there. You get some holograms. You get some drones in the sky. A neat little bit of world building. We then see her talking with someone that she's been dating. And we see Roger Ap William. There's our gun. Chekhov's gun has been fired.
The 3 dates. And on the third one, she recognizes the name. Then merrily dumps the guy.
Hi, thanks. I'm going for a man I'm never going to hook up with.
Also, you're bad in bed. Goodbye.
We also do get a
We
mention
haven't even been in
that
bed yet.
he is Mad Jack.
It's like
Kinda-
the fairies knew.
Kind of hitting us over the head with it a little bit, but
Well, they
It
chose
could've-
2 very distinct names with nothing in common to each other, so they had to link them somehow.
yeah. And then we get,
I hope he's not a politician.
I'm going to go save the world.
You got it.
And it wasn't me
those
that was bad in
buttons?
bed. It was you that was bad in bed. So fuck you. You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that was cool. Love that.
This is our first date. We just hooked up on speed dating. That's how I took like most of these. Were just like she got them on speed dating. That was it.
From what I understood, that like they had been dating for a while.
Yeah, I got 3 relationships out of that.
Yeah.
I got like the first 2, but this one felt like a speed date or a blind date.
I think the fact that they implied that they had hooked up and that he was the problem in bed implied that there was more than just a single date.
I guess I didn't even catch that because I was just so out of it by this point.
This was just insult to injury on top of it all. Like I've been devastated quite a few times by this point in the episode, and at this point I was like, yeah, all right, I'm done.
Not everyone likes the companion light episodes, and some are definitely better than others. Like Blink.
It doesn't have to be like I didn't need the whole episode to just be emotional baggage. Hurt my feelings.
It could have just been better written.
Like
Ruby,
I liked watching Ruby, but
they copied the plot from It Follows, and it was.
I mean, I'm telling you, like the sentiment of the episode was really dreary and devastating. It had a horrible, horrible resolution, in my opinion.
Oh my god, did it ever?
So
like, honestly, like none of this paid off. It all just ended. We'll get there.
I don't know that I'll change your mind, but I have.
I'll try.
There's something in classic Who that it reminds me of, and I think that's probably why I was fine with the resolution. Anyway, Ruby goes to the campaign headquarters for Albion, which, of course, is the ancient name of Britain. That is the name of the party here. And we see that their slogan is bigger, better, bolder Britain, which kind of makes you think of American campaign slogans a little bit.
Yeah,
you know, the whole
sure, I don't know what you mean.
Make America great again and build back better.
They literally talk about a freaking wall. Like,
So
they really went for it.
She says, you know, I'll do anything to help the campaign. I'll even carry the coats. And it cuts to her carrying coats.
This would have been funny if any of the tone of the episode had led up to this moment. This was not funny.
Remember,
It's a little bit of, you have to have a little comic relief in a drama.
Now she has multiple coats. It's perfect symmetry. She didn't have a coat in Welsh. She has multiple coats now. She's warm.
She's warm.
Now, see, that right there is poetry. Poetry in the making.
Ugh.
Like poetry, it rhymes.
Yeah, okay, George.
So, we get an interview with Roger Ap Gwilliam. We learn that he wants to spend 65 billion pounds on nuclear weapons. He says
like he went like the answer to his question. I can't remember exactly what he says, but like it was a total non sequitur. It was so. I thought his response was so weird.
The fact that he just laughs.
No, he starts off with like that story. He like tries to tell a story, and it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he finally brings it back around. I'm like, this is kind of the opposite of the way politicians behave. They'll usually start out with the question and then trail off into random nonsense instead of the other way around.
Well, he's Welsh.
You see, this is me not understanding the culture.
So he explains that he's a Welshman. He knows what it's like to be oppressed. And we get him saying no more 3 times. And that, to me, feels like a callback to the 50th anniversary. With the War Doctor. No more. No more.
No more war.
No more. Or we also get a mention of the 2031 Great Russian War. Is that just a throwaway line or is that foreshadowing?
I think that's them shooting their shot and going like, in 2032, this is really going to pay off.
Yeah.
Thanks, Disney.
After the interview, Ruby gets asked if she's with us by Roger. Ruby introduces herself and introduces him to Marty.
This is so sleazy, and again, it doesn't pay off.
No.
Yeah.
Ruby makes it fucking worse at the end. I wish I could have helped. And just runs away.
Yeah, arguably, like, you point towards sexual harassment and say, like, this is women helping women. Not.
I mean, did she know that he was going to do that to her?
Did you not pick up on the sleaze aspects here? Like, oh, who
absolutely,
is she?
but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Roger's elected prime minister.
Heck, he's a fucking dick.
Elected prime minister. Everyone seems to be cheering except for Ruby, and we find out Marty
looks like an evil Trudeau,
or
a more evil Trudeau.
Yeah, a little bit.
You ever drink Bailey's out of shoe?
Yeah, Roger did something to her.
That's what I fucking got out of him.
It's implied. It's not explicitly stated, but you can pretty much gather what happened.
It's implied.
If she didn't know before, she knows now and still does jack shit.
Yep. Well,
what are you supposed to do?
Stand 73 yards away?
I think I think she realizes that by the end of this, it won't matter, but we'll get to that. So we find out that Albion is holding.
Very hard to believe. I find it very hard to believe that Ruby is in her 40s in this shot. I'm just saying.
Yeah. We find out that Albion's holding a rally in a Cardiff stadium, and Saturday is when Roger gets control of the nuclear weapons. So we get our time frame. Buying nuclear stock from Pakistan. Ruby finally realizes what she needs to do. Goes down to the pitch.
This annoyed the hell out of me. If you watch sports, you know exactly how long the pitch would be. you know about where you would need to stand. This is pretty far off. Like, yes, build the tension.
And if you're
work, come on.
She would have been put the fuck down.
I mean, it would be confusing to a Secret Service agent if you were walking away from the target. Like,
true.
What do I do? Wait a minute. This doesn't compute.
So she gets
she
gets to 73 yards away. We get soldiers aiming guns at her and being told to, stand down, whatever. We get the lady appearing next to Roger. He looks at Ruby, runs off screaming, and resigns.
Nobody else around her, though, goes running off screaming. They just follow him.
Well, yeah, because perception filter.
It doesn't make sense.
The perception filters always kind of made little sense in Doctor Who.
Ooh.
Roger resigns, doesn't really give any reasons. Says, ask her. So,
Ass hurt.
We find that the woman is still following Ruby, despite Ruby seeming to complete her task. Cut to 40 years later.
40 years later.
Big time jump. Ruby is now an old woman, and she visits the TARDIS, still on the cliff tops. Get a line, I can't drive any closer. I can't get a signal for the engine this far out. Interesting. Wireless engines.
What the hell does that line mean?
They're working off of X.
Self-driving car, I assume?
But for the engine.
Yeah, well, it's brought to you by AT&T and T-Mobile.
You don't think they would have merged names by now?
I really liked the look of the weathered and distressed TARDIS. It reminds me of a desktop wallpaper that I have of the TARDIS knocked over in a forest.
Yeah.
We see that people put flowers at the TARDIS. It's covered in moss and it's weathered. Even Ruby isn't sure why other people are putting flowers there.
Why do you, ma'am? Oh.
Just the thing to do.
The exposition we get here, Ruby never spoke to her mother Carla again, never found her birth mother, and it never snowed again.
Doesn't
She
give a
says-
shit about her grandmother.
She says she thinks she understands why, and Ruby says she has hope. Honestly, the older lady has a fairly decent resemblance to Millie Gibson.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was prosthetics in the first shot, but I don't think it was.
No, they got an actress. I can't remember her name, but she did a really, really good job. We got a cut to her in the hospital. I could make it snow once upon a time. Okay, Grandma, go back to bed. You know that.
Okay, crazy lady.
I just
You
thought that
can
was
turn
funny.
off the lights off and on by saying lights. I had those in my day.
Everyone's
Back in
abandoned
my
me
day.
my whole life, but I haven't been alone in 65 years.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Bullshit.
Okay.
Middle of the night, Ruby hears voices whispering, turns the light on. We see the woman's gotten closer. The lights go out and begin to pulse on and off. The lady gets closer, closer. This was a properly scary scene.
Yeah, I'd say it definitely had good jump scare vibes.
The lady turned towards Ruby, holds her arms out, and Ruby kind of goes back
Crazy.
down her timeline, and turns out she was the woman all along.
God, no, it fucking felt so easy.
I had a feeling it was gonna go that way. Honestly, I'll save it for the end. Yeah. We get the line, I've been to Wales 3 times, which is different from before when she said she'd been to Wales twice. We get a warning from the lady, and Ruby tells the doctor not to step on the fairy circle. Ruby's penance is paid. The fairy circle goes unbroken. The timeline is fixed. So, you might be wondering what this photo is.
Say, what the hell shot was this?
This is from a different episode. This is from Logopolis. And I was really reminded of this character in particular during this episode. And it kind of reaffirms my suspicions that Ruby is part Time Lord, even if it's just hidden, if you will, if it's, the Chameleon Arch or whatever. That is the Watcher. And that was a part of the Doctor that basically assisted the 4th Doctor in his regeneration into the 5th Doctor. It hasn't really been expanded upon, but I know Russell T Davies loves classic Doctor Who. I think he may have pulled from this episode a little bit to kind of hint more that Ruby is more than she seems. Because I don't know that even with a magic fairy circle, if that would have happened to, say, a proper human companion.
But don't you know Wales is nothing but witchcraft?
It's kind of racist.
That's why the
Little
whole
bit.
tavern scene was fucking stupid.
That's why they made fun of her, because she was being racist.
They
That's
started
why they were
it.
that's why they were mean spirit. No, because Ruby, can I pay with my phone, acting like they were still, in the Middle Ages.
I'm sorry, not everywhere accepts phone payments.
And they didn't have anything on the counter to even represent that they accept that.
We also didn't know like what year it was when they arrived, and I don't think Ruby did either. And I think that was part of the issue.
That's how I read it. Yeah.
Well, they also like hinted at like, oh well, it's not 2046 yet, at least.
Didn't the doctor step on the
Yes.
fairy circle?
Yes, but so I think.
But she fucked up by reading it.
Yeah, she was the one that broke the spells by opening the scrolls. The doctor, on the other hand, I think that is why he properly disappeared rather than just abandoning Ruby and running away. Because we got a mention of the spiteful one. And I think he became the spiteful one when he stepped on that, who kind of walks through the gaps. That makes sense. The way it was explained to me made sense. I don't know if I'm quite doing the explanation justice.
That's my biggest gripe with the story at large, was that it's kind of a closed loop. So that version of Ruby got to live out her life, live and die, tortured, and got no resolution.
Well,
You just got to figure out that, oh, I'm gonna save the next version of myself. Like, this is worse than that Rick and Morty episode where Morty becomes the that other person and lives an entire life, because he comes back.
The video game one?
Yeah, the video game one, because Morty comes back at the end of that to his body with his memories, whereas Ruby doesn't get to have that lived experience. It's a different Ruby. That Ruby lived and died, tortured and abandoned.
we don't know that it's a fully closed loop, though, because of that line. I've been to Wales 3 times. I've been to Wales 3 times rather than twice, which means that she at least subconsciously is aware. Maybe not fully aware.
Regardless of that other Ruby did exist and did not get to go back to being a young person and get to go and have adventures with the doctor, get to see her mother again, get to find out who her real mother was. That Ruby lived and died tortured. No matter how it resolves for this new Ruby that we're in freaking Universe 767 here.
Josh.
And it'll never be brought up again.
Josh,
no, it probably fucking won't.
Do you remember the quarantine planet that Amy Pond was on?
Oh, man.
Yeah, a little bit.
Kind of reminiscent of that, where she lived many years abandoned, and then at the end, I shouldn't spoil this for Alex, but at the end, he's like, oh yeah, we'll bring you on the TARDIS, because he also gets back young Amy and Rory. And as she goes to the door, he slams the door in her face and takes off.
Fuck.
Yeah, well, it's fine.
What?
It would have caused a paradox. He couldn't do it, but he had to get her blessing to go, so he tricked her. Look, the Doctor can be dark at times.
Yeah, it's like,
And
leaving
self-serving.
Rory in the past to, become immortal and like have to sit thousands of fucking years just to get back to Amy.
Just wait until we start doing some of the classic Doctor Who, and I have you start watching the 7th Doctor.
Which Doctor was that?
Which one? Oh, that was the 11th Doctor that did that to
Matt
Amy.
Smith.
That was Matt Smith. Fuck.
Just wait till you see what the fucking David Tennant does to this certain family.
Okay, that set of episodes, phenomenal. The book, even fucking better.
I mean, to be fair, that family fucking deserved it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I don't think Ruby deserves this.
It's like they caught themselves a Time Lord, and they're like, now we get 3 wishes.
Oh, it's a genie now. That's racist.
Your wish is to be trapped for all eternity. Happy days. I would argue the 10th Doctor is probably the darkest Doctor.
Oh, yeah.
The 7th Doctor was definitely the most manipulative. Oh, yeah. Also the
Then
most angry.
I mean, the Ninth Doctor gets a little angry.
A little bit. I would say that his is more
Frustration.
PTSD and rage rather than just anger.
I mean, there's a reason why he's the War Doctor, so yeah.
No, he's not the War Doctor. John Hurt is the War Doctor.
I thought he was the War Doctor.
Have you not seen the 50th?
No.
You're just talking to yourself here, Scott.
What?
I like to torture you.
You haven't seen the 50th? Truly?
No.
You're being tortured. Welcome
to hell.
Dude, it's so fucking good.
No,
please. This is your time loop now.
No, please. Go ahead and ask him again if you've seen the 50th. Go ahead.
I don't
We
wanna.
ain't got it.
I don't wanna.
You're being
tortured. I learned something. Okay, well, luckily in November we'll be doing anniversary month, and you'll get to see the 50th then.
I have something planned that day.
No.
I'm gonna be sick.
No. The 50th is really good. Really, really good. But yeah, so overall, Alex, what would you rate this episode out of 10? 2. Ouch.
I hated it. I genuinely hated it. I didn't like sitting through it. I was angsty the whole time, and I don't think the storytelling paid off.
Josh.
Well, unlike my counterpart over here, I personally thought it was a 2.1.
This isn't Price is Right rules, you bastard.
No, I am Dave Portnoying the fuck out of this pizza review.
I'll be the contrarian. I would give it a healthy 6.5. It's not my favorite of the season, but I quite liked it. I like the companion-led episodes, and
I don't think it suffered because it was companion-led. I don't. I like watching
bad
the
writing and horrible payoff.
I think it was really bad writing. Like it had no good message. I don't think. What did I learn this week? What was I supposed to feel? Like there's been anti-abortion messages. There's been anti-war messages. There's been pro-music messages. Pro-freedom and expression messages. What the fuck was this story trying to tell me? That hey, you fuck with some witchcraft, you're gonna.
You peaked the fuck out.
I'm just fucking mad.
I think he said die alone in that part that was unintelligible.
Fucking pisses me off. Like what was the point in the storytelling?
Hey, let me just say this. Erica made more fucking sense. See, what? Scott doesn't know what I'm talking about.
I don't.
Alex
Shut
does.
Up, dude. Shut
Alex
the
knows
fuck up, dude. You can leave that. You can leave that shit at the door.
Saying it.
All right.
More fucking sense than this shit.
Nah,
so next week we get an episode about the dangers of social media.
There we go.
Again.
We're getting back to it.
Again.
So I'd say I'm putting the Maestro, the War episode, Space Babies, and then this episode.
No, I mean I put this one above Space Babies.
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
Space Babies
was at least fun.
Because we have to save the boogie monster.
It was at least fun. It had a little too much whimsy, but it was at least fun. I didn't have any fun watching this episode.
So far, 2 out of the 4 episodes have stolen from movies. Hard fucking core.
Also, this is the second week in a row that the Doctor has caused a problem by stepping on something.
That's true. Well,
let's reuse the script over and over again, guys.
No, Scott, this is the 3rd time.
What was the time?
On that bug.
Well,
and
yeah.
turns Ruby into that insect being.
No. Ruby did that.
Ruby did step, but that's the third episode where someone stepped on something and caused a
Then he
problem.
became Space Jesus and brought it back to life somehow, which no doctor has ever fucking done before.
Just because he hasn't done it, I guess, doesn't mean he doesn't have the power. But yeah, that was weird.
Then every companion should have fucking lived.
Oh, Adric.
He just figured out this power just like force healing. It's just
All
now.
I'm saying, poor fucking Bill, because I found out what happened, and I'm upset now.
You just now found out what happened. Okay. All right. Alex, you'll get there.
Who Bill is.
You'll get there. Not Stooky Bill, but the Lady Bill.
Yes.
Why did you think that would make it any clearer to me? I have more questions than answers after that.
NPH says that in the special.
then. Oh, well, that's all right then.
You should really watch the Toy Maker episode.
I do want to go watch that because I'm such a fan of Neil Patrick Harris, and too now that we had the Maestro episode with all the references to the Toy Maker, like, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's well
Captain
worth the watch.
fucking Jack could have been,
Captain Jack ain't coming back.
What they did to Jack was mortifying.
Mad Jack?
No, Captain Jack.
What did they do to Jack?
Jack Sparrow?
You know what they did to him at the end?
Put him in prison?
No? Well, kinda.
And then he came back to like say hello to the 13th Doctor, and then the whole thing, he got like 8-balled by the BBC, and they canceled all plans that they had with him.
The face in a jar?
Okay, well, that was a long fucking time ago. And a long fucking time in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't worry about that too much.
35.
But yeah,
if the Earth is to survive.
Captain Jack ain't coming back just because of the whole controversy about how he behaved during RTD's first run. So anyway, we're closing in on an hour.
The character was phenomenal.
So I think we'll go ahead and call the podcast there. Thank y'all so much for joining us. Thank you guys for being here for the podcast.
Pleasure.
To those listening on Spotify, check us out on YouTube. To those on YouTube watching us, check us out on Spotify. Might as well do the cross promotion, right? We are also available on Amazon, on Apple, on Acast, on just about anywhere that carries podcasts. Even iHeartRadio. I forgot about that one.
Holy shit.
So, yeah.
Anywhere where quality podcasts are sold.
So find us. We also have a Patreon. You get access to a special portion of our Discord server if you join our Patreon. In the future, these video podcasts will only be available to patrons. But until this season ends, we're still going to keep putting these out on YouTube for free, and we'll go from there. So with that, hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful week. We'll be back next week with a review of Dot and Bubble.